Hey guys, it's Xander here, and we're back looking at brews in Modern. This isn't a deck that I come up with the idea, it's just something that I heard was a thing, so I've kind of put the list together. There's a lot of ones that are very similar to this. Everyone's trying to do the same kind of thing with it, and that's mash these two kind of meta decks together, which is, one is Hollow One, which runs a 4-of this guy. So I'll just go over the cards as I'm explaining this so you guys can understand if you're not familiar with this stuff already. So Hollow One's card that came out of Hour of Devastation in 2017, and it's a 5-cost artifact creature golem. It's a 4/4, but it costs 2 less to cast for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn. So it abuses like all the really cheap random discard stuff or the draw cards, discard cards, allowing us to play it for dirt cheap or often free. And it's been something that kind of smashed through Modern after it appeared in 2017. It was played by a Julian Grace Martin, who finished 35th in an SCG Open, but he later went 5-0 at a Magic the Gathering Online competitive league with the Bridgevine version of the deck in August 2017. So it's been around a while, but this is me mashing together both the decks and trying to get it to go as good as I can get it. And so far I've been pretty impressed with how the deck goes. So if you haven't seen anything like this is an outstanding deck. It's just great to play. You've probably seen a lot of stuff that's very similar to this, but this is my take on the deck and how I'd run it. So I'll go over the deck, talk about the interactions between, and talk about the sideboard. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video. So we're talking about, we've got a 4 of the Hollow One, which I've already explained, so running that into 4 of. Running a 4 of Bridgevine, which is for 2 and 2 green, a 4/3. It's an elemental creature with haste, but the second ability, which is the one we care about, is the cast a spell. If it's the second creature spell you've cast this turn, you may return Bridgevine from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card is so easy to abuse in this deck, it's ridiculous, like, just insane. There's a reason it started off at $40, it spiked recently all the way up to, I think it was $85 at one point, and it's dropped back down to, I think it's $50 at the moment. So it's a really crazily expensive card, so this deck is not really budget. On X-Mage, this thing's wicked because it's free. Bloodghast in a 4 of. So for 2 black, a 2/1 Vampire Spirit. Bloodghast can't block. Bloodghast has haste as long as an opponent has 10 or less life. And Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Bloodghast from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can see the recurring thing in this is us being able to get stuff from our grave for free. So it's just getting value out of our graveyard. Yes, we can get hosed if they're playing anti-graveyard strats, if they've got a Rest in Peace or they've got a Grafdigger's Cage or whatever. But the deck still runs pretty well without having to use the graveyard. It just runs really well when we can get to our grave. So something to remember when you're playing the deck. Running a 4 of Insolent Neonate, which is for 1 red, a 1/1 vampire with menace, and discard a card, sacrifice Insolent Neonate, draw a card. So it's a cheap creature for the purposes of Bridgevine. It allows us to discard a card, which is going to let us play Hollow One cheaper, and it's going to draw us a card, which everything about this card is awesome. It's just insane. Definitely running in 4 of. Also running a 4 of Walking Ballista, which is 2 times X. So for every 2 you pay, it gets at 1, +1 counter on it. And then its second ability is pay 4, put a +1 counter on it, or you can remove a counter to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So if you play it for nothing, comes in with no counters on it, and it dies. But it does come into play as a creature, which means it can counter our Bridgevine, us playing a creature, us playing our second creature, get the Bridgevines back. So we can turn 1, discard the Bridgevines, and potentially play a couple of Walking Ballistas for nothing, and then get the Bridgevines back straight away on turn 1, which I've done it before, and it's pretty insane when it happens. In a lot of the Bridgevine decks, you'll see that will run a lot of the other X creatures, the ones that come in with X counters, the Hangerback Walkers and Endless ones, but yeah, we're just running Walking Ballistas in this one because we're trying to do the Hollow One plan as well. Also doing 3 Grave Crawlers, which is for 1 black, a 2/1 zombie. Gravecrawler can't block, and then you may cast Gravecrawler from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. Now, we haven't got a lot of zombies in this deck, but if we have a Bridge from Below in the graveyard. We're running it in a 4 of. It's for 3 black. It's an enchantment that was originally in Time Spiral, and then they reprinted it in Modern Masters 2017, I think it was. So it's whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, if Bridge from Below is in your graveyard, you put a 2/2 zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Then when a creature is put into your opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, if Bridge from Below is in the graveyard, exile Bridge from Below. So if you have this in your grave and any one of your creatures dies, you get a zombie. Because you get a zombie, you can then get a Gravecrawler back and continue doing whatever the hell you want to do. So you play a Ballista, it dies, you already played one creature spell, you then play the Gravecrawler from the graveyard because you've just got a zombie from Bridge from Below being in the grave as well. Get the zombie, play the Gravecrawler again, get your Vengevines back, and yeah. Also playing a 4 of Faithless Looting, which is for 1 at sorcery speed, draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards. And it's also got Flashback, which allows us to play it from the graveyard for 2 and 1 red. So this card allows us to just put everything we need to in the bin. It's going to make our hollow ones ridiculously cheap. It allows this deck to work reliably pretty much all the time. Also running a 4 of Goblin Bushwhacker, which is for 1, a 1/1 Goblin Warrior. It's got Kicker 1, so as you play it, you can pay an additional 1 red. And then when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So usually we can build our board pretty quick in the first few turns. This means that Goblin Bushwhacker's coming in as a finisher turn 3, turn 4. I have seen people running in the Vengevine version of this deck. I see Reckless Bushwhacker being played a whole lot. I just prefer Goblin to Reckless just because it's dirt cheap. So I want to be able to get the Vengevine. If I don't want to play this with the kicker cost, I can play it for 1 without having to play another spell. So like Reckless is, it's a 3 cost 2/1 with haste with the same abilities, except the kick is if you played another spell it costs 2. So yeah, I don't know. I just prefer this. But each to their own. Other people might prefer the other one. But yeah, I'm running this guy in a 4 of, and he's worked fantastically so far. Also running a 4 of Burning Inquiry, which is for 1 red at sorcery speed. Each player draws 3 cards and then discards 3 cards at random. Now, you'll see a lot of the Hollow One decks will be running this, and they'll be running Goblin Law, which is for 2, draw 4, discard. I think it's draw 4, discard 4. Draw 4, discard 3. But it's... yeah, I'm running this in preference of Cathartic Reunions or any of the more expensive stuff because I just want to be able to do it as quickly as possible. Like I'm aiming to get as much value out of my my spells as I can. So them being as cheap as possible is really important for how I wanted to build the deck. But you could probably make it more reliable by putting Cathartics in because then it's allowing you to pick the cards that you're discarding. You might be able to make it maybe not as aggressive, but still probably more reliable by swapping these out for the more reliable stuff. But it's worked so far. Also running a 4 of Straight Wraith, which is for 5, 3 and 2 black, a 3/4 Wraith with Swamp Walk. But we're pretty much never going to play it for its actual cost. We pretty much only have it in here for its cycling ability, which is for cycling, you pay 2 life. So instead of paying any mana, it's pay 2 life, cycle it, and so you discard it and you draw a card. So it allows us to get our hollow ones out cheaper, and it's for free. Like our life is a resource too. Everyone needs to remember that when you're playing. Is your life is a big resource as well, and any cards that allow us to pay life instead of having to expend our mana is always going to be a good thing. That's why Frixie and stuff, a lot of the time people whinge and moan about it because it's so broken. So this is just as bad. Being able to discard this in this deck for nothing is awesome. So this allows us to go turn 1, we can go, okay, I'm going to Faithless Looting, and then I'm going to Straight Wraith, and then I'm going to play my hollow ones. Yeah, it's just great. Just looking at the land base, you can see here we're running a 4 of Blood Crypt, which is a Swamp Mountain. So it's one of the Shocklands, which comes in... Sorry, I'll move it up here so we can see. So when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. It's just an awesome duo that's always played in Rakdos decks. Also running a 4 of Blackcleave Cliffs, which is Blackcleave Cliffs enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. And it's got tap for red or black. So this is just an outstanding mana fixer for us, especially in our colors. And yeah, it's great. So we can't fetch for it, but played early, or played late, it's still going to be a good land. Running a 4 of Bloodstained Mire, which is tap, pay 1 life, sacrifice Bloodstained Mire, search your library for a swamp or mountain card, put that card on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. So just your normal fetch. We're also running a 2 of Arid Mesa and a 1 of Wooded Foothills, which are fetches for red or white, or fetch for red or green. I have thought about running Stomping Grounds in here so that we can hardcast Bridgevine if we need to, because if they are running anti-graveyard, our Bridgevines kind of get turned off a bit. This is another Swamp Mountain. Comes in tapped, but it's also got cycling, which is... I wanted to run at least one of the cycling lands in here, and yeah, Canyons lose in the colours, so that's what we've done with it. And a single mountain. Going over the sideboard real quick, we're running a 3 of Lightning Axe, which is for 1. At instant speed, as an additional cost, you discard it or you pay 5. So discard a card or pay 5. So again, synchronized with Vengevine, it's great with Bloodghast, it's great with Hollow One, it's great with Bridge. It's good. And it's deal 5 damage to target creature. So this is going to kill a Tarmogoyf, it's going to kill a whole lot of stuff in the format. 5 damage is huge, and at 1 cost, it's just a great card. Running a 3 of Thoughtseize for those control matchups, which it's going to happen, and it's just a great card. It's a catch-all, which we always want to be playing. So it's for 1 black, it's sorcery speed. Target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and you lose 2 life. For artifact matchups, we're playing a 2 of Shattering Spree, which is for 1 red. Destroy target artifact, but it's also got Replicate. So for every 1 red you pay in addition to the first, you copy the spell. So you pay 2, you kill 2 artifacts. Pay 3, you kill 3 artifacts. You get the idea. Grim Lavamancer is for 1 red, a 1/1 human wizard with 1 red, tap, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage to a creature or player. Awesome card. Allows us to ping for damage. Gives us reach without having to get through with creatures. So if Lantern Control or something running Ensnaring Bridge that's stopping you from being able to get in for beats is, this could actually finish the game for you, which is just a great fix. Also running a 2 of Damping Sphere, which is for 2, an artifact. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces colorless instead of any other type of mana. And then each spell a player casts costs 1 more for each other spell they've cast this turn. So it's Hoses Storm, Hoses Tron. It's just a great card. Definitely running in a 2 of. You probably put a 3rd in if you're, depending on your meta, but yeah, I'm just running in a 2 of. Also running a 2 of Shriekmaw, which is for 5, a 3/2 with Fear. They are horrible stats. When it comes into play, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. It's not so bad. But then it's got Evoke, which is why we're playing it in this deck, because it allows us to abuse a couple more things. So it's for 2, 1 and 1 black. You can play this card for its Evoke cost, and then if you do, you sacrifice it when it comes into play. So for the purposes of Vengevine, this is a creature that we are playing and then is immediately dying. So we play it, it counts to the Vengevine, it dies, it counts to the bridge. So we play it, it dies, we get a 2/2, we kill something non-black, and it could be the second spell or second creature spell that we played. So we get Vengevines back from our graveyard. So we can see it's just another utility piece, kind of toolbox style, that's sitting in the sideboard there if we need it. It's not something that's always going to get used, but I've just got it in there just in case. And following that same logic, I'm also running a single copy of Ingot Chewer, which is for 5, a 3/3. When it comes into play, destroy target artifact, but you can play it for 1 red at Evoke. So 1 red, you play it, it dies, and everything I just explained for the Shriekmaw, it's the same thing. So, yeah. That is Hollowvine in Modern. This has been another deck tech from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. If you didn't, let me know in the comments. If you did, let me know in the comments. If you like the cards, didn't like the cards, if I'm missing stuff, if you think there's better versions of it, link them in the comments. I'm happy to take on criticism or whatever. Yeah, if you get any reps in with this, let me know how you go, because I've been winning a whole lot of games with this, and it's actually been really, really good. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you get to see videos when they get released. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Keep questing, guys.